If you've mastered the art of peaceful speech, then it is likely that you have a very firm grasp over your guiding principles. If you have mastered the art of the pause in speech, then it is likely that you have clear convictions and great self-confidence. Truthful, loving speech, no matter the circumstances, is a harbinger of self-mastery. Today, we'll explore 10 ways to speak like a Stoic. Rule 1. Conciseness. The ability to use a few carefully selected words to clearly and succinctly make your point is a sign of inner clarity. For example, imagine you're a manager in a meeting. One of your team members is struggling with a project and seeking advice. Instead of giving a long-winded response, you succinctly say, "Focus on the essentials. Eliminate distractions. Progress will follow." This concise advice embodies Stoic principles and provides clear, actionable guidance. Rule 2. Objectivity. Stoics are truth seekers. The points they convey are known to be shared reality, based on verifiable facts, not subjective opinion. For example, suppose you're leading a project and there is a dispute among team members about the project's progress. Instead of taking sides based on personal opinions, you address the situation objectively. The project timeline shows we're behind by 2 weeks. The client feedback indicates dissatisfaction with the current quality. Our budget report highlights a 10% overspend. These are the facts we need to address. By focusing on verifiable facts, you steer the discussion towards a shared reality and practical solutions. Rule 3. Avoid evoking heavy emotion. When speaking with others, refrain from blame. Do not dissect their intentions and actions. Instead, focus on the facts of the matter. For example, imagine you're a parent discussing a poor grade with your child. Instead of blaming or questioning their effort, you could say, "The math test score was lower than expected. Let's go over the areas you found difficult and figure out a study plan to improve next time." This focuses on the facts and constructive actions without evoking heavy emotions or assigning blame. Rule 4. Catastrophizing is a self-fulfilling behavior. Catastrophizing is when we allow the mind as penchant for storytelling to weave all kinds of fictitious outcomes into a real situation. For example, if one were to lose their job, to catastrophize over it would be to jump to the conclusions that they would also lose their home, their family, and, ultimately, their lives. When we catastrophize like this, we divert precious cognitive resources from the solution and squander our most precious resource, which is time. Losing one's job does not necessarily lead to catastrophe. Often, in fact, it is an opportunity to realize change and growth. Rule 5. Avoid value judgments. This is a striking similarity with mindfulness. In mindfulness practices, we are encouraged to refrain from labeling things as good or bad. This is particularly true of our own thoughts during meditation. Labels of good and bad are sticky. They are incompatible with non-attachment and flow. For example, instead of saying, "Oh no, it's raining," say, "It's raining." Rule 6. Never lie. As mentioned, Stoic speech is about being an instrument for the truth. In Stoicism, a person's moral character is their most important asset. To lie is to risk this invaluable asset. Rule 7. Don't exaggerate. We often think of exaggeration in the context of storytelling. There is the old trope of a fisherman's catch getting bigger each time they tell the story. Most often, however, exaggeration occurs internally, in the form of internal dialogue. We tend to blow things out of proportion, omit, and amplify. To speak like a Stoic is to think and speak with balance and fairness, adhering to the truth, and never relying on exaggeration to convince or persuade others or ourselves. Rule 8. Timeliness. They say you should never fire someone on a Friday. You should always fire them on a Monday. If you fire someone right before the weekend, they have no time but their own to process the bad news. If you fire someone on Monday, They have several workdays ahead during which they can process. More importantly, other businesses are open for the remainder of the week, meaning if they are resilient enough, then they can get to work calling on new job prospects immediately. Stoics look for the right moment to speak the truth, and they are abundantly patient when waiting for the right moment. Rule 9. Courage to speak out. Courage commonly plays out through speech. It takes courage to speak out against what you feel is wrong, especially when doing so may run counter to the mainstream view. Courage is one of the four Stoic virtues, so it is important that we uphold it through our speech, especially since occasions to say the right thing present themselves much more often than occasions to rush into a burning building. Rule 10. Listen. Stoicism is a social philosophy. It was never meant as a solitary practice. It was meant for people engaged in the world with other people. It was meant for navigating social tension and conflicting interests while trying your best to do good in this world. And to do good in this world while navigating the desires and interests of all those with whom we share space. We must listen. We must try to understand. As mentioned, Stoics seek the truth. They do not minimize, omit, or amplify. To do this effectively and consistently, they must understand others' perspectives. Sometimes, this means remaining silent, leaving ample room for others to open up. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not be overheard complaining, not even to yourself." It serves as a reminder that, as an impartial observer of your thoughts, you can see how valued judgments of events and circumstances are quite deceptive. In his handbook, Epictetus advised his students to speak to their thoughts. You are just a feeling and not really the thing you appear to represent. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.